Awesome. Now, I was just thinking, as everyone was talking just now, I was like, I've known you for a long time now. It's been a while, okay, because I worked for Richmond, as you mentioned, and I moved over there from Lexington to Louisville, and I worked at the agency there for 7 years, and I had a really good, and this is not, I didn't even expect to give a sales pitch on Vistage or Michael or anything today, but I had to call it out because I was at Vimark in my mid to late 20s and early 30s, and I was very fortunate to be a part of Richmond's like tertiary group and people that he brought to Vistage meetings for certain things. And just hearing everybody talk brought me back to those meetings, and I was like, it's I get a lot of anxiety of like having email pile up and work pile up and people trying to call me during meetings like that. But then I was like, it always was really good to sit back and like hear from the leaders in the group and stuff. And like, I'm glad to be back in this. And so being like sort of a pseudo member, and now on my own and being able to present with you guys, because the people that come to speak at Vistage meetings, like, they're incredible. And I had a lot of good stuff. So thank you for those experiences on that. And thank you for this today. So this is really exciting for me. And this is AI version of me protecting downtown Main Street, Louisville from AI. Hopefully you can see Whiskey Row right there, and then also with the Louisville Bats. If I was smart, I probably should have done something with downtown Lexington today and had the Fifth Third Bank building or something in the background. But this is sort of just a depiction of what I've been trying to do. And Eric, I totally hear you on trying to find that niche or whatever. It was like, how can I best help people? I have I have a slides in the appendix here if we have time to look at all the different work and things I've done over the last few months, because it's just been crazy. I've done so many different things. Not one project has been the same for any of my clients. But like a lot of you, I mean, I'm working with a lot of small businesses and solopreneurs, because I think the AI side, everyone's going after enterprise. Everybody wants that large piece of data. And I think I found my niche as far as being able to work with those types of businesses and people. And so everything that you will see today, I'm very excited to show you, because it is a collection of the last 2 years for me. I have had the very fortunate opportunity of doing research and work as I was exiting from my previous agency. And so all of that's going to be wrapped into all the experiences I've had over the last 5 and 6 months out on my own. So excited to share that with you. And so this is the agenda. We'll quickly go through everything, because I don't want to hold you guys up on everything you guys need to discuss from a Vistage standpoint. But just a quick, because of AI and how fast it's moving and how much it changes every single day, I think just a quick introduction about myself and why I'm even qualified to give today's talk is very important, because we're going to talk about what we're not here to discuss, but then we're also going to talk about what I've learned over the last 2 years, point out some things that you may or may not be doing from your current marketing, and then we'll talk about some 2025 AI marketing trends that I've seen, as well as what you and AI can start doing. And I've had the fortunate opportunities to, this is like the fourth time giving this presentation, and I love the reactions. So I hope to see some jaws dropping, eyes opening, eyebrows raising, because I've done a lot of research, and there's a lot of cool stuff out there, and I hope some things that you haven't learned yet. So with that, that's actually my avatar right there talking in the background. I've created that with a platform called HeyGen. And it's just something that's cool. And you can see with Michael's content, the ability to recreate some folks, put them in the right environments, help break through a lot of that noise that you see in your news feed. So it's really, it's good to hear that a lot of people saw, Michael's content there. But I've talked a little bit about my background. I think it's very important from an AI standpoint. It's like when you're talking with an AI marketing consultant, it's like, really, how much experience do you have? I have literally worn every single hat at all of these different institutions, companies, whatever you want to call them, and have had incredible experience, not only being a strategist, data analyst, website developer, content creator, but also an executive at 2 different agencies. And but that's one of the reasons why I'm here today, is because I've seen the writing on the wall, and I knew I was going to be more profitable for myself, more present for my family if I was out on my own and doing less of the day-to-day and people management, and letting AI be my closest associates for the time being. So that's one piece of me. I also have a wealth of industry expertise. And one of the best things about AI so far, I haven't run into a situation where I haven't been able to help somebody because of their certain industry. There's always a different use case. And I've also found that even if I don't have something currently in the works for somebody, I have something that, either find it really quickly on GPT or Google. And there's always something popping up the next day that will allow folks to work with me. And then another thing is with AI, being nimble and being able to go from platform to platform. I have a wealth of experience in so many different platforms. And this is the laundry list of things that I put out there because, with all of those different hats, with all of those different companies, I have run into a lot of different systems, which have really helped me adapt to the AI world because, again, there's something new every single day. And then finally, some of those of you familiar with downtown Louisville, I have taught 6 years intro to digital marketing and advanced digital marketing at Spalding University. So I think a huge piece of the AI sector is just introducing people and educating people. And so you talk about my experience, you talk about the hats I've worn, the platforms I've been in, and also I've been an adjunct professor. It's like, oh, this guy's got the trifecta as far as being able to talk about this stuff and provide value to everyone. So I hope that sounds good to everybody. So what we will discuss today, AI marketing only. I'm not going to talk about things outside of that. I'm going to talk about marketing trends and how to get started with marketing. I'm not here to give you a ChatGPT 101. And I'm not here to give you complex technical language or detailed prompts or anything like that. I kind of want to just go beyond that because I'm sure you guys have already started messing around with some of these things. So, but if you haven't, those conversations can happen as well. But think of it as this is the next step beyond prompting ChatGPT with content and requests and things like that. I want to get you start thinking about how you can utilize it more and how you can also get your employees to start being advocates and utilizing it faster. So, the ideal situation for me is, I'm working with a nonprofit in Louisville where they have 8 full-time employees and man, they don't have, the funds to start hiring and putting out, more positions out there. So I'm integrating a lot of AI tools to help them, turn their 8-person staff and hopefully make it feel like a 32-person staff when I'm done with it. So that's what I'm all about. Okay, so what I've learned. I have been fortunate enough to work with AI, and back in 2017, there was a brand new startup, working with Meta and Instagram advertising and Facebook advertising. They started optimizing ad campaigns inside of Ads Manager. And so working with that, I like showing that because AI has been out longer than some people realize. It's not just ChatGPT in the last 3 years or anything like that. It's been out there, it's been working, especially in the marketing and media realms that I have lived in for quite a while. And then now, we're talking about more and more as far as people utilizing it on a day-to-day basis. I have a ton of data. I'm actually working on a book to release next year as far as how to become an AI consultant or how to integrate it with your small business. And I'm also opening up a community. And so just all of that research I've done, I've just seen that the coaching, the educational side of it is such a big piece of the future because as you'll see with the trends, and hopefully some of the things that will raise some eyebrows, we're all going to be able to do so much with this, but how we communicate, how we think of the additional ideas that people aren't thinking about is going to be such a critical thing in the near future. And I love taking credit for this. This up top here was a Slack message I sent my boss at my last agency where I told him, I was like, what's happening here? It's like, I'm not getting my bonuses because other people are screwing up. I'm driving new business, but I'm not getting commission off that. I'm kind of like an agency inside of an agency, how can I, increase my margins here as far as time wise? It's like AI is allowing me to do a lot more and I'm not getting paid for it. And so I saw myself as that like employer to employer relationship. And then, earlier this year, there's a study that comes out, with, I think it was a Harvard study that suggested that, your employees, they're utilizing AI the more that they become familiar with it, the more they utilize it inside of their internal workflows and outside with your clients and things, it's like they're going to maximize their value and things. So it's like smart people in March 2025 there. It's like, it was just good to see that the feelings I had internally and showing externally, they were relevated and they were showing up here in 2025 as far as the capabilities behind AI and utilizing it with your current workforce. And this is another thing. I just added this slide fairly recently. I'm going to show a few seconds of this guy's video. But before I do that, I wanted to also show a screenshot from an associate of mine where, this is a really good example of, how platforms are going to be like, you know what, all you have to do is tell us 5 things and we'll get the campaign running for you. And the same, Meta or Mark Zuckerberg just came out with that. Meta's going to come out with some new AI tools very, very soon. Google's already doing it. And so this screenshot over here and some of the things she was calling out, it's like, that's an easy cost saver for you. You don't have to hire third-party people anymore or third-party teams, to run small digital advertising campaigns for you. AI is going to be able to do it and help that for you. But then it's also, there's going to be a ton of other things that you're going to have to worry about, not just advertising, but I'll let this guy cover some of it because what he does, it's very entertaining from a panic standpoint. But he makes a lot of good points with this too. And hopefully I got the volume up here, but we'll let him talk a little bit.
The only one who sees it. If we stay on this track as a country, that within the next 12 months, we're going to see the absolute decimation of the entry-level white-collar economy, right? I can't be the only one that sees that AI has already put coders, data scientists, website builders on the back burner, and we're quickly seeing a world where even things like paralegals, CNAs, administrative work, marketers that are just completely out of date now in comparison to the instantaneous 24/7 doesn't require payroll worker that is now AI. Many kids are sitting in their 3rd or 5th year of college getting their degree in their specific niche, knowing now that AI more than likely is not just going to be a competitive factor in their job market, but may outright replace them, if not already, soon. Even gig economy things like, let's talk about content creation. You understand how much content is going to be going out? How many creators are going to be AI backed, AI infused, AI optimized to pump out so much content at a corporate level that we're going to lose trust in new faces and new voices. You're going to see a new creator pop up and you're going to think, is this AI? Is this person real? We're going to cling to the creators we know, and the creator space, the content creator space, is going to become so much more competitive with optimal content. Lost an AI gorilla from a log from a forest, and it was good. AI podcasts, AI creators, AI content streams, AI job markets. We're going to be not just influenced, we're going to be infiltrated by AI.
So, thoughts on that? Are there fears in anyone here? Any conversation you guys have had internally with your teams? That guy's very entertaining for me. I love some of the points he was making, and it also shows some of the examples of like Michael's content that came out there with the AI tools that I have. Is like, how much time did you spend, creating that or approving it?
I bet he made 20 and 30 posts, all with a nice leadership-oriented article and an image, and I had nothing to do with any of the content. Yep. How he developed it, but I did nothing. And it was all spot on. It was all really good content. Even the images where I was superimposed over Lexington landmarks, I didn't have to show up and have a photographer take any photos. It was all AI generated.
Yeah.
So really remarkable.
Cool. But I would love to know if you guys have had those conversations, or if you've been thinking about these things, or maybe that video just brought on a lot of things that you weren't aware of.
We do a ton of contract work.
Oh yeah.
And it's like some of the more routine, regular contracts that the traditional general counsel, outside general counsel, to prepare, negotiate. We're seeing our clients come to us and say, hey, we've had a team pull this together. And some of it is usually pretty good. Some of it's not. Some of it's not.
That's interesting.
To the situation, right? Like it's not perfect yet, but they cut 2 hours off their legal bill because they already had.
Okay.
will tell them, well, this is not the format we use. Here's why. Right? Like this isn't even for your industry. But like I am concerned. Like in 5 years, what is like we help a client with a master services agreement, or if a lot of our M&A work is small business, so there's a lot of $1, $2, $3 million deals. There's going to be buyers who are just like, I'm not going to pay a lawyer X amount an hour or whatever flat fee if ChatGPT will give me an asset purchase agreement. I'll wing it.
Yeah.
Which, smart or not, the point is my concern with what that looks like. 5 years.
Yeah.
I think it's here.
Has it reduced their time, or has it increased your time because they messed up at the very front?
It has decreased our time slightly.
Okay.
Made some things. I mean, we have templates that we start with for most things anyway.
Yeah.
But it's more like battling perception. It's more become an educational tool for explaining why this works and why this doesn't work, or why you scrap this now. It's just the conversation is slightly different than just building something out for them, or having a contract in place, but asking, getting an answer on why these two provisions can't be tweaked when just pump it in and check. So yeah, some of it is. It's only going to get more advanced, more sophisticated. I don't think like on larger deals it's ever going to replace it, but it does concern me. Like, where does this go in 5 years?
Yeah.
Because I find some of these AI tools to be valuable, but it's that they're like assistants, not generating.
Sure. Yeah. And compliance too, right? I mean, people feeding the data into where they're not sure where it's going, right? I mean,
it's particularly acute for us because we have ethical obligations. We don't know what the confidentiality levels are getting the AI tools. I know it's getting used by someone for some reason somewhere else, and it's there. There's a lot of talk around our association. What is the disclosure on confidential information, regardless of how the less generic, the more generic you make it, the less valuable some of the feedback is. So there's this tension between getting something that's actually workable and violating our ethical obligations.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's a whole different world. Man, anybody else seeing something similar?
I'll add a little to it. I use it every day and the majority of the day. So, in sales, is it going to replace salespeople? No. Salespeople that embrace it are only going to get better. You're going to do a better job because it's going to give you the tools behind the scenes to do it. I build a lot of sales playbooks for businesses. I have a team of 4 people. We've got 432 prompts based on 50 questions that and it's taken 2 years to develop those prompts.
Awesome.
To get the exact answer that you want. So there's a lot of sales playbooks that are cookie cutter and it's generic. And I bought one for $20,000 in 2002 from Price Waterhouse. It was a piece of garbage. That's what it was. So now I make them customized for your business. It's not standard. You answer questions, but it's all AI driven. There's a team of 4 doing it, and it takes a huge human element still. That's the other thing I'm going to add. Just because it spits out all this data, you still have to humanize it.
Yeah.
So it's not going away, but it's a real powerful tool for my clients because it's customized to their business based on those questions.
Beautiful.
They know who their competition. They know what questions to ask, and we do those all the time.
That's awesome.
And then you hear about automated SDRs and all these. I get 20 emails a day from companies with this do you marketing. There's a new person out of their apartment or house every day starting a business with. I can do automated this. You can automate those things, and I do. You still have to have a human person following through. So it only enhances and makes it better.
I think so.
And then the government side is a whole other issue. I do these playbooks. You gotta be careful what you're putting in there for people's businesses because you don't know where it's going, as you said. You kind of know where it's going, but it's out there for access.
Yep.
So you never put financials. You can't put in certain information that is private to the business.
Yeah, I love that.
Unless you have a non-disclosure, unless you have, you do it first. But you just have to be careful.
Yeah.
You don't know where it ends up.
Yeah.
Ask a question and then it pops up.
Yeah, that's great. That's great to hear. Yeah, and I mean, some of those pain points and things you guys are calling out for is like like I said, I saw the writing on the wall when I was at larger agencies, and and we had a large client who just paid us for Google Ads, and they brought everything in house last year because they could do it cheaper, they can do it faster, they can do it more cost efficiently, by doing it themselves. And so my business model is for an immediate future here. I can fish for you, or I can teach you how to fish. And I see that from a legal standpoint too. Is like, or any business really. It was like, even we have to accept the fact that we're going to be able to do more as ourselves. Multiply our output as individual employees or employers. But for me, walking into a situation, team of 8. I'll teach you how to fish. At least I'll get something out of the relationship financially. But then I'll also be there for future purposes if I'm not a trusted partner, instead of trying to not necessarily sell them something like I used to at a marketing firm. Like, oh, you need a new logo, you need this. So it's like now I'm walking into conversations going, here's revenue generating tactics for you right out of the gate. And then here's how AI can supplement some of the things that you paid more of a pretty penny for in the past. So that's how I'm looking at it from a philosophy standpoint and how I'm working with people. And so here's where I'll challenge you guys as far as thinking about what you're currently using from a marketing standpoint or not utilizing. Maybe you're just networking, or maybe you're utilizing email. Maybe you don't do any advertising. Maybe you haven't touched your website in 10 years. So think about those things. These are some tried and true approaches, mainly from a digital marketing standpoint, but also have some traditional tactics, because I have dabbled in actually reverse engineering this AI process. Is like, once everybody is the same again, just like we've seen with websites, through digital marketing, through social media, everyone's going to catch up and be creating a lot of the similar AI content. And so I've already started having people. I bought a used handwriting machine on Meta Marketplace, just so I could clone clients' handwriting and have personalized notes sent out, in addition to AI content and automations out there too. So I'm trying to think of the next best thing of like, okay, when everyone's the same, how do I have my clients stand out a little bit more? So that's why I call out those traditional tactics, because it's not just an online thing anymore. We can utilize the technology for more traditional efforts too. So this is one of the most valuable pieces of information I think I can share today from a business owner standpoint. How I evaluate AI tools is the AI tool focusing on business objectives and goals? I think that is a huge thing. It may fit one thing, but maybe you can find another tool that fits 3 of your needs. Think about it that way, because that's what I mean as far as future proofing. Not just hurrying and rushing and bringing on an AI tool that it satisfies one goal. How can you find something that will allow you to do multiple things and curate some assets? And then also another thing that was missing from my career moving forward, from the back, is like I was never able to be transparent enough. I even had a boss tell me, "You're too transparent." It's like, how are we going to have our profit margins if you're too transparent and showing clients where these things are? I was like, again, we're all going to have access to these things, if not already. And so being transparent and asking your partners to do the same thing, I think is going to be huge. So we're at 25 minutes here. So I will go through some of this stuff really fast. And I'll make sure I'll send this out to Michael as well, and so you guys can have a full deck. But again, additional questions that you can ask yourself is, where's your company from an evolution of a business model standpoint? Are you going all in on AI, cautiously experimenting, living in denial? I would say living in denial would be at the top here with traditional businesses, people-powered systems, and then people have moved into the cloud, web, mobile, and social. And then when, I think a lot of folks are in right now as far as AI-first businesses, they're optimizing, They're getting more out of their employees, getting more out of their processes and operations because of it. But then the next phase that I think we'll see here is autonomous enterprises. That's the one thing I want to be part of the race to, and I'm not going to make this kind of revenue, but it's intriguing to me from what like Mark Cuban and others have said is like who's going to be the first singular person, revenue generating company to get to $1 billion. It's like it's going to happen. I don't know it's going to be in the next 5 years or so, but there's going to be a single person entity business that's going to generate $1 billion, and it's going to be because of AI.
Just real quick, Adam McDonald is in one of my groups. His company is called Turnpoint Services. They own 60 plumbers across the country. He let us listen to an AI generated call answering service. So if you call in the person, the human being is not available, it automatically goes to AI. You can't tell. Matter of fact, customer satisfaction scores are higher for the AI service attendant. You can stack up. So if 5 calls happen to come in at the same time, AI can answer all of them, right? You don't have to hire all that additional after hours. You don't have after hours answering service costs. And when you listen to it, I mean, if you're really into it, you might be able to discern that it's amazing and it's here already.
Yep.
And if it's here already and it's that good, it's only going to get better.
Absolutely.
So that's an example of service levels, right? Because if you call somebody, you want to talk to something, right? If it's a complicated thing, like I have to explain it, it'll kick you to a person or whatever. And it just sounds so real. Saving money, better service with AI. And it's here now.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And so we're talking more about how AI and your customers. I love this. This is one of the very first stats that I've seen, when I was doing research last year that really, really intrigued me. And so up here it's an old graph, but the stats still hold true as far as the projected numbers. And so up top here is Google visits and searches. And the blue line up here is the trajectory of ChatGPT visits and searches as well. And so they're saying by the time of October 2026, ChatGPT is going to surpass Google, which all of the other search engines have been trying to do for over 2 decades now. So Google, and that Google's not going to go down without a fight. So what they're doing, they're pushing all of what made them famous down below all of the AI results. And so one of the biggest things I want to call out to small business owners and solopreneurs is, you may think right now is like, okay, I'm going to buy a few keywords. I'm going to get to the top of search results. I'm going to get ahead of my competitors. It's like, that might not be a thing here in the coming months because of all the AI results and everything that's showing up now. Your paid ad is being pushed down already, depending on the search. So it's just intriguing to me about how users are utilizing all of this and what you should expect from a business standpoint. And so this, businesses aren't the only thing. Websites, publishers, they're all seeing a lot of different interactions when it comes to AI. And so these 2 different graphs here, this top one is G2, which is a very popular tech platform that rates and gives you comparisons for different SaaS tools and other things. And so they are seeing a huge drop in site traffic because people are going to things like ChatGPT and trying to get really quick answers and evaluating results or evaluating tools so that they don't have to go to websites like G2. But one thing that is growing, and you'll see more of a theme here the rest of the way, is that community building, whether it's online or in person or whatever you're doing for your business. Things like Substack.com, they're getting more traffic because companies are going on Substack and providing consistent knowledge that keeps people engaged from an email or blog standpoint or live chats or things like that inside of Substack. So, it's just really intriguing to see all of this. And then also I added this stat over here, 48% of the most widely used news websites across 10 countries were blocking OpenAI's crawlers. OpenAI owns ChatGPT. And so a small number, 24% were blocking Google's AI crawler. So we're seeing a thing of like all over the place of like, all right, this is my data. I'm not going to allow ChatGPT to use it, but the users are there. So how am I going to negotiate all of this content and where people are coming in from? So this just blows my mind about like all these sites like G2 that have owned, or WebMD, that have owned that space, but people are now getting their medical answers through ChatGPT or things like that. It's just absolutely insane. And so here's another thing is like, as you're sleeping, as your customers are sleeping, there's going to be a point now very soon, if it's not happening already, where customers are having their AI assistants, their AI agents go out and try to find and compare your companies, your products, your services against your competitors. And by the time they wake up, they're going to have 5 of the best offers. They're going to be able to evaluate those things very quickly, and then be able to either schedule a meeting with you to talk about those final steps in the process. And so how I look at myself and how I'm able to help folks right now is like, let me get the AI content going. Let me get your voice going a little bit even better suited for AI, get that brand voice really going so that you can feed all of that information to your AI agents and assistants so that it's 100% talking relevantly for you. Just like with the phone calls Michael's talking about, is like feeding it the right information now so that it is working for you 24/7. And so, hopefully it's doing 95% of the work and then you're picking up the final 5%. And then here's another example of Chick-fil-A doing their own content. If you haven't seen it inside of the app yet, not only can you order food, have the playground, go through the drive-through, you can also entertain your kids with their own proprietary show. It's not AI generated, but it's digitally produced, and it just shows that it's more cost effective than ever to have people be their own media studio. Another thing I want to call out here is that YouTube, if you're not focusing on YouTube, I would start doing that. That's why I'm producing a lot of AI content for folks from a YouTube video standpoint. It is now the #1 streaming service. So that's across all different devices and things. So that is highly powerful, not only from digital marketing, but it's touching so many different devices inside of people's houses. Another thing AI helps with is producing more vertical content, because social is going to surpass TV viewers this year. And so again, AI can really help you generate more content for your business because of that. I'll skip the final step there. But another thing I just wanted to warn you guys about is and from my standpoint, I'm just weary about whatever is generated from a platform, especially from a video or image platform. Part of me is just too overly cautious of thinking like, what if the AI steals a background image from an artist and I don't know it's copyrighted? So I look at it from a standpoint of like, I do AI produced work. So like if you have a marketing specialist, if you have a marketing team, it's like, what are we doing from an AI standpoint? Are we protecting ourselves? Are we making sure that this is AI produced and it's human monitored? Or is this AI generated and we're relying on the AI machine to really make sure that it's proprietary to us? I think that's a really good question to ask your marketing team if you haven't already. And then finally, actually 2 more slides here. AI in the world, I think there is an investment bubble, just like we saw with the .com bubble. There's going to be a lot of companies out there that are active now that will never be able to repay their investors. And then we also have compliance challenges. The AI Act in the EU is out there. It is out of the government. It is being enforced starting August 2nd, and then will be fully enforced by August 2027. And just like the EU does with website data right now, it's going to crack down really, really hard on folks like ChatGPT. And I think we're always going to be behind the EU from this standpoint, but that someday those crackdowns, those compliance challenges are going to hit the US as well. So that's just another thing to keep aware of. And then the final thing I'll leave you with today is, you're probably thinking like, Todd, how can I get more involved with ChatGPT? How can I make sure that my website, my content can be part of the curated response that is in what people are looking for? There is no tried and true approach of that. If someone tells you that they can rank you on a ChatGPT search, they are full of shit. There is no tried true approach of that yet. But what I do have for you here is, so no matter you're looking at this from a search engine optimization standpoint or an AI optimization standpoint, I think 3 things would be critical. And I think we talked about some of these already. Is like stay true to what you're currently doing. If your team is doing great as far as pushing your website, making sure your keywords are on there, keep doing that. That's the number 2 point here. But as far as feeding AI the right information, making sure that you have your original data and insights in there, making sure your people, your CEO, your leadership, your experts are providing their opinions, providing their expertise, that's going to make you stand out more, because that's going to allow, especially from a local standpoint of like just being able to give people more specialty answers that ChatGPT can use. That would be incredibly valuable. So that all goes within this Venn diagram of like, keep doing what you're doing from a content standpoint, but know that AI is not just pulling from your website. It's also going to be, and I'll just say this sentence just from verbatim here, search engines will switch from crawling websites to find pages to crawling the web to find information it can add to a knowledge base. So think of it, it's like, think of your website as your knowledge base. How much info are you feeding AI? What else are you putting out there on YouTube, on Spotify, on TikTok? How are you allowing AI to make you guys look more robust than you are from a person standpoint or a content generation standpoint? So a lot of stuff there, but also test your AI responses too. So all the content you're putting out there, go on ChatGPT, go on Gemini, go on all the different tools and see if you are resonating with folks in the different questions that you expect them to ask. So I'll shut up for a moment and see if there's any questions. Yeah.
When do we dump our SEO people?
I'm sorry? When do you dump them?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I actually just signed a contract with a client where, instead of paying $3,000 to $5,000 a month for SEO or even $10,000, they're paying $99 a month for an AI SEO tool right now to optimize and watch their site. So I would say whenever you want, because there's going to be a human factor with that. You got to watch it and everything, but automating your Google business profile posts and responses, Q&As, all that stuff to make sure those are out there and your meta titles and title tags are all optimized and relevant. I mean, that can start right away. That's a good question.
Are you willing to share how much you're spending now to manage your SEO?
Yeah, I use a local company. They're called Harrison Ward. We do a job for one of the owners. They, as far as SEO goes, very cheap.
Yeah.
People fraudulently think they can do AI up. A lot of SEO goes to everything. $100 a month, you pay $300 a month, you can pay $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
All that to say, I think I'm only paying more like $500 a month.
Oh, that's good.
They got us to the
That's
first
fine.
page of Google in like 6 months.
Mhm.
$500 budget, so it's not like it's great.
Oh, sure.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, sure, that $500 somewhere else is
Mhm.
it's not.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and like you saw too, it's like that first spot on the page is much down further than what it used to be. So yeah, it's a totally different world right now.
Yeah, but if you guys are looking for SEO, Harrison Ward,
That's good. Awesome. Awesome.
Any other questions? How did you create the content for my LinkedIn post? Where'd that come from?
That came from a variety of tools. I think I used Sora for ChatGPT image generation. And then I also have my own content engine. I was just going to put my contact info on there. But that's what I mentioned, my community, I mentioned my platform. I'm very excited about that. I'm launching that next year. And it's going to be a really good way for people to have coaching, have a platform for AI that curates a lot of things, but then also have the community to ask a lot of questions too. So keep a lookout for that because take a business card. I would love any beta testers or things like that. I can get your team on it. This quarter or upcoming quarter. So I'd love as many people to test it. That'd be great. But I also have a resources page too that I was going to put. I'm recording this presentation, so I was going to put that on there too. So, and at the very bottom of the resources page, there's a lot of AI tools that I currently use. So go on there and you can have your team test and do a lot of free trials that way too. So that is there for everyone to utilize as well. So I appreciate everyone's time and attention. A lot of fun.